I'm going to be honest enough to tell you that I'm worried about America. Yeah. I'm worried about our nation because it's sick with racism still. Just think about the fact that we live in a nation which was founded on the principle that all men are created equal. And yet men are still arguing over whether the color of a man's skin determines the content of his character. And I believe that the Lord told me to say to the United States of America that is sick with militarism and is sick with excessive materialism. Have you ever thought about it? There are between 38 and 50 million people in the United States of America who are poverty-stricken, making income less than the poverty level. And yet, this is the richest nation in the history of the world. Our national gross product this year will go beyond $800 billion. And yet, there are between 38 and 50 million people who are poverty-stricken. Now, there's something wrong. A lot of people are afraid to say it. But I don't mind saying it. You see, somebody said to me the other night, don't you think, Dr. King, you are going to have to start speaking more in terms of the administration's policy? Because since you started talking against the war in Vietnam, it's hurt the budget of your organization, and people who once respected you don't respect you anymore. And I had to look over and say, sir, I'm sorry, but you don't know me. I'm not a consensus leader. I don't determine what is right and wrong by looking at the budget of my organization, and I don't determine what is right and wrong by taking a Gallup poll of the majority opinion. And so, because there's something wrong, our struggle must continue. And what we must see is that our nation's summers of riots are caused by our nation's winters of delay.
And you mustn't think bad thoughts about me either, or I'll do the same thing to you. Play some more music.
It's good what you've done to Dad. It's real good.
It was swell. It was just swell. It was really good.
I kind of liked it a little bit better when we had cities outside and we could get real television. Things like that.
Amy, it's real good for you to say such a thing. It's real good. But how can you mean it? Why, Anthony's television is much better than anything we ever used to get.
Oh, yes, it's fine. Why, Anthony's television is the best television we've ever seen. It's snowing outside. Anthony, are you making it snow?
Yes, I'm making it snow.
Why, that'll ruin half the crops. You know that, don't you? Half of the crops. That's what that'll...
Dad.
But it's good that you're making it snow, Anthony. It's real good. And tomorrow's going to be a real good day.
Thank you for your leadership and thank you for everything you're doing.
I want to thank you for standing up to the Chinese Communist Party.
I want to thank you as well for the shipbuilding.
Your vision is a turning point and an inflection point in American history.
Your leadership at the border, absolutely remarkable.
What you're doing now, I think, is a great service to our country, but ultimately to the world.
You were overwhelmingly elected by the biggest majority.
We're pulling all that out and putting the money toward the infrastructure, not the social movement from the last administration.
Good steel, right, as opposed to green paper mache.
Press your way through. Press your way through. Can't give up now. You ought to press your way through. Press your way through. Press your way through. Can't give up now. You ought to press your way through. Oh!
If you put 100 black ants and 100 red ants in a jar, nothing happens. But once you shake the jar, they start killing each other. The red ants start thinking the black ants are the enemy. The black ants start thinking the red ants are the enemy. But the real enemy is the one who shook the jar. So before we fight each other, before we hate each other, understand first who's shaking the jar.
America was built by and for the white Christian people of this nation. All we want is to change America back to what it was.
We do want to see whites, rise and have our own state here in this country.
I do think that Trump will probably help the movement grow as a whole. We may not see that reflected at rallies, but I think we will see it reflected on the number of people who are engaging with the ideas of the white supremacist movement, whether that's electronically on the internet or in actual person and face-to-face encounters.
And the American Negroes have turned out to be an extraordinarily gifted people. Unquestionably, I am an American, born there. My father slaved there. Upon the backs of my people was developed the primary wealth of America, the primary wealth. You have to have accumulated wealth to start, to build. You did it another way here in Australia. You had to build your accumulated wealth too. You just came and took it, you know what I mean? And that's what they did in most of the countries. That's what you Europeans did. You just took it. It's a lot of America that belongs to me yet, you understand? I'm proud for being African. Now in our school books they tried to tell me that all Africans were savages, till I got to London and found most of the Africans I knew were going to Oxford and Cambridge and doing very well. And somewhere it was wonderful to find about the colored peoples of the world that they were very advanced. So I would say today that I'm an American who is infinitely prouder to be of African descent, no question about it. No question about it.
In the hours and days surrounding Charlie Kirk's death, something remarkable and deeply troubling started to take place. The truth about what had happened became obscured and blurred. Through sophisticated technologies, many lies were told, and many conspiracy theories were conceived. Foreign enemies and governments wasted no time in helping to spread misinformation and dissent, hyping the narrative that were already present in American politics and society. Sophisticated disinformation created false events about what had happened, widening the gap in race relations in an already volatile racial bomb ready to explode. But what's most shocking is this: to see the tremblings of the shaking clearly visible in Christ's church. We are counseled in last day events in the great controversy of things like this. It's sad to see that these warnings are largely being ignored by the very people they were designed to aid and guide through the time of darkness in Earth's history. Social media algorithms designed to keep viewers emotionally engaged begin spreading these false narratives faster than the truth could be verified and shared. The Lord's servant warned us about this very thing in the book Last Day Events. She wrote that Satan would work through various means to deceive many, and if possible, the very elect. The messenger warned that Satan would use every avenue available to spread his lies, and that these deceptions would become so sophisticated and widespread that only those who were grounded in God's word would stand amid the chaos around them. The murder of Charlie Kirk is a prime example of Satan working under the guise of Christianity to spread confusion and discord. Many of the lies and false narratives after the shooting were spread by individuals that claimed the cloak of Christianity. Yet, their words sow seeds of hatred, division, and confusion, rather than love, unity, and truth that should characterize the genuine Christian life. Now think how social media alone allowed the discord to spread so quickly. Within minutes of the shooting, dozens of media posts were online. Videos taken by eyewitnesses were online and manipulated before a proper investigation could be done. Many who claim to have insider information only added to confusion and chaos. The events echoes the messenger's words. Satan will accelerate the confusion and drown the world with misinformation just before the end of time. The pace of events will quicken and deception will be more widespread than ever before. The thirst for clicks and likes have clouded the vision of even some of our own people.
I am appalled that we would saint, martyr, or compliment anyone who has the audacity to speak negatively and call egregious names the person of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I don't have words. I have been silent, intentionally so. And what I probably want most out of this conversation, and you all opened it with the desire to be candid, what I would probably want most is a full-on boycott of Amazing Facts, 3ABN, and any media coming from Doug Batchelor, Mark Finley, or Danny Shelton. That's where Claudia is at.
Tyler Robinson had been influenced by online communities that promoted hatred and violence under the guise of social justice. These digital spaces radicalize individuals and represent the spirit of devils working miracles that was predicted in prophecy and will help usher in the final deception. Tyler Robinson's sexual partner was transsexual. This prompted some to say that the shooting was orchestrated by gay activists, while others said that this was part of a larger conspiracy to silence religious voices in America. But these narratives, regardless of who promoted them, served the same purpose: to distract from the deeper spiritual realities at work and to promote division rather than understanding. Now, I never knock someone's sincerity, but it is possible for a person to be sincere and at the same time be sincerely wrong. They may even have valid and sincere arguments that seem to promote righteous causes, but all the while, it's nothing but a sincere deception that plays on human emotion, struggle, and pain. Satan is a master deceiver. He works in various social and political movements and uses real injustices and grievances as a cover to ultimately carry out his agenda of creating chaos and turning people away from the truth, which is Christ, who is sent to save them. The use of Tyler Robinson's personal life to score political talking points distracts from the real issue at hand, which is a young man who had been led away and deceived by evil influences. Many people will use things like this to advance their own agendas. These events reflect just how hard and cold the human heart can be. And unfortunately, it is a condition of many in the world. Isn't it written? Do not be conformed to this world, neither the things of this world. Now, I'm not saying that we should be oblivious and ignorant to the things that's going on around us, but how much more beneficial to Christ would it be if the church and we who profess Christ would offer the Christian service of prayer and fasting and godly counsel and wisdom? How many souls could be won for Christ? Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. This rest is a peace of mind, a sober thought in the midst of chaos and division. But many reject this counsel. Mental health and illness are at record highs. Point the people to Christ. He is our only hope. Isaiah 61:3 alludes to why so many have no peace of mind and suffer from mental unrest. Verse 3 says, to console those who mourn in Zion, to give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Wait a minute. Did you catch it? The garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Ask yourself, what is a spirit of heaviness? That is demon oppression and harassment. But Satan has convinced many to palm off demon possession and harassment as mental illness and depression. Verse goes on to say that they may be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he may be glorified. Mental duress, chaos, division, violence are only going to get worse as God's Spirit is being withdrawn from the earth and the churches. But Jesus said, I have not lost one, no, not one that you have given me. I in them, and you in me, that they may be perfected in unity, so that the world may know that you sent me, and you love them just as you love me. May the living God of peace be with each and every one of you.
Why else would you make the phone call? He's a failed president. Who else sends ICE same time having a conversation like this? Someone who's weak. Someone who's broken. Someone whose weakness is masquerading as strength. The most unpopular president in modern history. An economy that's collapsing all around him. You saw the new wholesale prices going up almost a full percentage point today. Inflation is going up. Job creation is going down. He's trying to rewrite history, Smithsonian, censoring historical facts. And in the spirit of what Adam Schiff said, he's trying to put America in reverse on voting rights, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, on women's rights. He wants to bring us back to a pre-1960s world. That's what this is all about. It's about
announcing
power.
a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States. I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act.
President Trump now moving 2 nuclear submarines to respond to what he's calling highly provocative statements from former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. Trump's playing the ultimatum game with Russia. 50 days or 10, he should remember 2 things. 1, Russia is not Israel or even Iran. And 2, each new ultimatum is a threat and a step towards war, not between Russia and Ukraine, but with his own country. Don't go down the Sleepy Joe road, prompting the president here to make the statement, ordering 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in the appropriate regions, he says, just in case these foolish and inflammatory statements are more than just that.
I cannot believe I'm saying this, and that it is not a top-of-the-page headline story across the country, but the U.S. Army just swore in 4 tech executives as lieutenant colonels. The CTO of Palantir, Peter Thiel's company, the CTO of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg's company, and OpenAI's chief product officer and former chief research officer, the company belonging to Sam Altman. These 4 men are all now 1 rank away from a general, second in command for field-grade officers. There are 16 ranks lower than a lieutenant colonel, and these 4 untrained civilians just leapfrogged over soldiers who have dedicated their entire career and lives to the U.S. military. Apparently, these men are going to work on targeted projects to help guide rapid and scalable tech solutions to complex problems. A sentence that means absolutely nothing, because clearly this is just a way of giving these companies access to top secret information without them having to go through any pesky background checks. And if that doesn't scare you, it really should. Because we already know that Palantir is building a massive centralized database, using much of the information they acquired from Doge, Elon Musk's foray into the American government. These billionaire tech bros are compiling lists of our most sensitive information, our tax records, medical data, bank accounts, social security information, immigration status. This administration is allowing them to build the infrastructure for techno-feudalism, authoritarianism in the form of data and surveillance. It is a horrifying and blatant conflict of interest that harms the safety and security of all Americans. There should not be this much overlap between private tech and the US government. Certainly not between private tech and the US military. I do not know how asleep at the wheel Congress can possibly be, but they should be shutting this down immediately. And every single one of us should be demanding that they do it. The people who are using the government against you are now taking over military authority. The corruption is calculated and staggering, and I can only hope our veterans and active duty military are paying incredibly close attention. And now that you know, you should be talking about it.
Adventists should wake up. Time is short. What organizations have now been taken over by the Jesuit order and other institutes of Catholicism? What world powers are in her hands to be used in this final chess game for the takeover of the world? We can get some idea when we look back to the Council of Trent in the 1540s through the 1560s. At that time, and during those years, we find vows that were taken by these secret orders to take over the education of the Protestants, take over their schools, take over their churches, especially to destroy the Protestant Bible by creating many translations, destroy the monarchies of Europe, destroy nationalism, to use astronomy and astrology to create new calendars that would eventually transfer the sanctity from Sabbath or Saturday to Sunday. Their goal was to take over the business world, internationalism. They were to take over banking, to take over Judaism and the movement of Zionism, to create political strife and chaos and all of these things for one end, that Catholicism should rule. Listen.
Even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me.
That the United States would repudiate every principle of the Constitution. And I'm sure that that is not too far in the distant future. You know, an integral part of the papal policy was an organization called the Inquisition during the Middle Ages. It began in the 12th century under Innocent III, which was the most powerful of all the popes of that time period. The purpose of the Inquisition was to seek out heresy and stop it, but it used some very unorthodox methods. One of those methods was to force certain confessions out of Christians or others, and with those confessions use them to form public opinion, to raise crusades, to destroy the primitive Christian church. Crusades went out that destroyed people by the millions. We'll not know how many until the Judgment Day. But the Inquisition, the Catholic Church said, well, yes, there was an Inquisition, yes, we destroyed people, but it was part of the barbarity of the times. Others did it too. But of course, she claims that she's changed today, and Protestants are believing her. But you know, the Inquisition still exists, and it's actively being carried out. Beneath many of her large churches today are instruments of torture.
Because you're the people we want to hear from. We want to hear from you. I don't want to hear from a lot of people. I hear from too many people. You're the people we respect. Franklin is incredible, and they come from a different place than me. I come from a business place where there's a lot of rough people, bad people, not really religious people. There are some, but you're the people that I want to hear from. That's why we go to church on Sundays, or we go to wherever we are to listen to people of faith. And yet you have less power. And I pointed down to Fifth Avenue, which was 68 stories below, and I said, that means that anybody on Fifth Avenue, in theory, has more power. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the opposite. We have to give your voices back. And I've given you voices back, and that's one of the reasons that we see upticks now, I think, in religion. So it's very important. Remember that moment when I said, I'd love to have your support.
We'll be debating a bill requiring every American to attend a church of their choice on Sunday to see if we can get back to having a moral.
Till he meet me. I'm gonna stay right here. I ain't going nowhere. You can't make me. Somebody said I've already seen Zion, and I know what's